So here's an overlook of the build. The entire outside is milled out of a single piece of wood, and the rest of the attachments and the headband are all made out of metal. So you're getting a metal and wood build here that feels super premium, super durable. They do have a good amount of weight and heft to them, but despite that, they remain comfortable. They terminate in dual XLR, so something similar to like what your LCD2 would have. The pads are swappable with any of the ZMF pads, or I think they're 100mm pads. I don't know for certain, but they just look gorgeous. They are just beautiful in every single way. So, on to the sound. When I first got these, I wasn't super duper impressed. I was like, okay, these are good, but where was the romanticized sound, the best headphone that I've ever heard? Where is that headphone in these? And I think you need to do some pad swapping before you can get there. So I had 3 sets of pads. I had the BE2 suede perforated pads, the universal lambskin leather pads, and then the ones that I have on right now are the Caldera suede perforated. So out of these 3 pads, the brightest ones are the Universe Lambskin. I did not like them very much. They just took the treble spikes and made them larger, and it was just overall like I would say like a more sharp, treble happy experience that just wasn't very. It was too much with the treble with these pads. The BE2 suede took that treble down quite a bit, but I think the way that the treble was distributed throughout with these pads were a bit off, and there was still too much emphasis in like the top like 10K past region with these pads that I wasn't digging. And then we used the Caldera pads, and these are what hit home for me. So these had less treble than the BE2 suede perforateds, but there was just still a hint too much. So that is where I started messing around with some like dampeners, and what I ended up doing was taking a piece of felt and just cutting it out into a little circle here. The ones in here are larger. This is just a little. Cutting it out into a circle and putting it into the pad, and then you just get the smoothest, inoffensive, most beautiful treble I have ever heard. Once you get this piece of felt in here with these pads, the treble becomes god tier. And then everything just lines up into place. And at that point, I started hearing that romanticized, beautiful sound that was advertised. So my personal recommendation would be the Caldera pads. Buy some felt, cut out a little circle, stick it in the pad. I got some red felt here that matches the whole, red of it really nice. So I actually really like the way that looks. But yeah, I think that'll just bring this to a next level of goodness. But if you like more treble, then go with the BE2 pads. If you like stupid amounts of treble, the universals are there too. Now, the sound stage. These do not have a very large sound stage. Period. The end. I would not use these for gaming. I'd rather use the Arias, the Focal Clears, the HD800s right there on the shelf. I'd rather use those. However, for music, the soundstage ends up being something really, really special. So anything that is directly to your left and right is very intimate and close. Always. So vocals on these headphones are just intimate. Always. Which you either love or you hate. In this instance, I love it. And then like they do a good amount of like front and back, so you kind of get this vocals here, and then like everything is playing from the front and the back, in front and behind you, with the vocals kind of separated. which is a presentation I love. And that adds to like the romanticized feeling of it, right? So other headphones like an HD600 will have like a sound stage, and the only way I can really put it is that they will like play sound around you. But the way that these present their soundstage, it's almost enveloping. It is like you are inside a tank of water, and it like consumes every crevice. That's the best way to put it. It is all consuming, all enveloping. It is a magical presentation. And then that, added with the frequency response of these, which I'm going to put up on screen now, these headphones are lush with some warmth. They are dynamic. They are smooth. They are never harsh. I wouldn't say they are dark. They are never bloated. They are never lean. It is such a natural presentation. It is so... they're so good. I thought I liked headphones that were just the cleanest, most neutral on the planet, like Aria, Focal Clear, like just the neutral, clean sound. These just completely changed that for me. These are just so good, rich, warm, luscious. These are like rose-tinted glasses as a headphone. They do image fairly well. It's not the best imaging ever. The HD800, the Arias, those are going to image better than these. Those are going to have a much wider and larger soundstage than these. But the way that like the imaging is good, it isn't impeccable, it isn't laser focused, but that kind of, it's that like that romanticization again with the imaging, with that soundstage where everything just like it contributes to that all enveloping feeling that you get from these that are so special. I think another thing that is special about these, I EQ every single one of my headphones. Period, the end. If I had to rank my headphones from best to worst, and I could EQ or non-EQ, they'd be two different things. Like the Arias, I love them. They were previously my favorite headphones. If I couldn't EQ the Arias, they would be much lower. They are just way too bright. Period, the end. And then the Focal Clears would probably overtake them. Maybe the LCD2s, because the LCD2s, that's the first pair of headphones where I was like, do I like these better with EQ or less than with EQ? These don't need EQ. I don't EQ them. That is how good they sound on their own. The only thing I do is at a bass shelf, just so it goes down flat, 20 hertz. There is nothing else apart from that bass shelf. That is it. That is the only EQ going on with these. You don't even need the bass shelf, because they roll off at like 40 hertz, and it's like by 5 decibels. They already go pretty deep, and they're already quite punchy and quite dynamic. As for dynamics go, I would say the Focal Clear is more capable in the dynamics section, just in like raw impact and punch. The Atrium gets a lot. The Atrium feels more dynamic, but it's more through that like mid bass that it has. That extra mid bass is where it's getting more of that dynamics from rather than like raw potential. These also do something very special that no other headphone does. Texture and decay. Everything through these headphones are so textured. Guitars, drums, maybe less so the top end, just because these aren't very fast and they lean on the less trebly side depending on what pads you have. But everything on the mid-range and lower end, there is just this sense of definition to every single instrument that nothing else has done. And that, paired with the decay of these, things will linger so much longer on these than any other headphones. You can hear an instrument slowly die out. Some people say that these aren't very detailed. I have no issue with the detail at all. I'm not the most critical listener on the planet, but there was nothing about the detail that was making me be like, oh, that was like, there was fundamentally less detail going on with the driver. Like, yes, the Aria is more detailed, and I would say the Focal Clear is more detailed, but I would say that's more of because the treble response in these rather than the actual driver themselves being less detailed. But overall, the real question is, have these dethroned the Arias as my favorite headphones? And yes, yeah, absolutely. These are magical in so many ways that is just undescribable. I haven't heard much of those other, like, top-of-the-line headphones. I'm going to be getting us as far in the future. A Utopia, 1266s, maybe an Imperium 2. These are really my first true endgame pair of headphones. But wow, they are something immaculate. Now, putting these on tubes, next, you're leveling them up. They just get better. The soundstage just becomes a little bit larger, but still has that enveloping nature. The dynamics become better, and everything just becomes more... The musicality just gets better. These are just about the music, front and foremost, than anything else. Will I still be using my Arias for gaming? Yes, absolutely. I think, like, you just can't beat the Arias for gaming in the HD 800s. But for music, these are just impeccable. When I'm at work, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I want to go home so I can listen to my Atriums. They are just that good. I was just going through my playlist, listening through different songs, and just my jaw I was sitting here with my jaw just open. I was going, oh my god. There is something magical about these, truly. And they are seriously an insane pair of headphones. Like I said, I haven't heard other endgame headphones, but I would absolutely recommend these. The Atriums are a magical pair of headphones, and I do believe you should purchase them. But yeah, so that makes my second review here. I just kind of wing these things. Maybe I should write out a script. Might be more cohesive. Please let me know, though.